We're back in the studio again. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. And with that question, we're going to make a happy camper out of you. Hello, Daniel.
Hey.
Oh, I am so excited to be here. So excited to be back from my trip to South Carolina.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you, I had a lot of fun up there. Weather was good.
That's good.
And it was also bad.
Well, I wasn't there.
Well,
so.
we're gonna talk about that today, as well as what do you want to do about transitioning from tent life to RV life.
Yeah. Go to a pop-up.
All you had to do is be with me this past week to figure that out. We're going to talk about it today on episode 282 of the Happy Camper Radio. Thanks so much for joining us. Stick around. We've got a great show lined up for you.
Happy Camper Radio.
And without question, the Happy Camper Radio Show can be heard all around the world by great listeners like yourself. Check out any podcast directory out there. Chances are you're going to find Happy Camper Radio right there. We're on the web 24/7 at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on X, and by all means, check out our YouTube channel where you can watch Daniel and I right here in the studio. You want to be a subscriber, click on that little red box right down there in the lower right-hand corner. That's it, and you'll be a subscriber to the show. Well, Daniel, the studio, I had to come in here this morning and just brush the dust off everything.
I know.
I'll tell
It's been
you.
forever.
Yeah. I mean, we've been doing a lot of traveling. I know I have.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Sure. You know, but we
Took a
had
vacation from your vacation.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it's felt like.
Yeah.
You know, for these past couple of days since I've been back. But we had an awesome time down in Brunswick. Didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. You just cannot sit still for a minute, Daniel.
It was awesome.
Okay.
I would have done more if we hadn't have done the show. I would have been off even earlier.
I know you have, but the neat thing was, Daniel, when you were there at the campground, you got to intermingle with a lot of Grand Design owners.
I did.
Yeah, and
I stayed out till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I think
that's
one night.
way past my bedtime.
I couldn't believe they were up that late.
Really?
None of them had jobs, so
Well,
they're used to it.
Okay, I know that feeling. Okay,
Yeah.
and one of these days you're not going to have a job to worry about.
That'd be nice.
Okay, and it's coming.
Yeah,
It's
14
coming.
years.
We've talked about that on numerous occasions already. But I'm so glad that you made the trip down there.
Yeah,
and,
it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I want to go to Nashville. That's what I want to do. That sounds like the way to go.
Nashville?
The Nationals.
Oh, the National.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See what the real hubbub is all about.
Yeah, well, I tell you, I had an awesome time back there in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
And that kicked it off right there for me. I just knew that I was hooked, that I was going to start going to these rallies.
Yeah.
And, of course, the 2024 schedules are pretty much all filled up, but I've got my radar set on 2025.
All right.
And I'm looking at a lot of rallies, and I'm hoping you can join me again, just like you did down there in Brunswick.
I'll do what I can.
Yeah, okay. But, Daniel, I'll tell you, I had an awesome time up there in South Carolina on Lake Hartwell. Now, I've been to this campground last year. This is the Springfield Campground in Anderson, South Carolina.
Okay.
And it's a really nice campground. It's run by the Army Corps of Engineers. And you recall me saying on this show before, when I go to a campground, I always make it a point to walk around or drive around with my GoPro with me, and I observed every single campsite there.
Yep.
So when I do come back, I will have pinpointed the ideal site. And that's exactly what I did. Site number 34 at the Springfield Campground, Daniel. Wow. Right there on the lake. It doesn't get any sweeter than that.
Yeah.
I posted a picture this past week on Facebook, and I said, this campsite was made in heaven.
Yeah, it looked amazing.
It really was. Now, the weather, for the most part, it was hot. It felt like July or August.
Eee.
Yeah, so I mean, it was nice to be out there. I had the canopy out, but we were also dealing with some light rain and some heavy winds.
Oh, boy.
When the wind started flapping that canopy, it was time to roll it up.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because I wasn't going to have that damaged. But for the most part, we just hung out there by the lake. Now, Daniel, this is the first time I have ever went to a campground and checked in and did not leave until it was time to go home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I also learned something else, too.
What's that?
When I am booking these campgrounds from now on as a retiree, and I don't mean to rub this into anybody that's still working, but I am not going to book anything less than 6 days and 5 nights.
Oh, boy.
I am taking full advantage of the time away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's something that this camping trip taught me.
Okay.
Okay. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing from here on out. But I spotted this site here when I was looking through my videos at the beginning of the year when I started making my reservations.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I've got to get up here on Site 34.
Uh-huh.
It just looked so relaxing. And it looked better, actually, after I got in there and got set up.
Wow.
Yeah. But here, Daniel, the weather up there, like I said, it can spin on a dime, especially here in the southeast.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And we had one of those nights. It was the night before not the night before, 2 nights before I left.
Mm-hmm.
At 3 o'clock in the morning, my girl Sadie woke me up.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Because there were some crashes of thunder out there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it at the time because I wasn't really paying too much attention to the forecast, but there was a tornado watch in the area.
Ooh.
The winds picked up. Fortunately for me, I folded everything up and kind of laid it down.
Yeah.
I didn't want to keep my recliner up. I didn't want to keep the camping chairs up because I didn't need them to be projectiles.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
In
had
the water.
Yeah. But there were a lot of tent campers there. I
Okay.
was surprised. Yeah. When I first arrived, driving on back to that site, I spotted a number of different tent campers, and they were folks up there in their ages like me.
Yeah.
But they were having a great time.
Cool.
All right. But that particular night, Daniel, about 3 in the morning, the crashes of thunder. Sadie doesn't take the nasty weather very well.
No, she doesn't.
Okay. And I didn't sleep very well because, of her panting and carrying on. I just, it kept me awake.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if that wasn't bad enough, about 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning, the power went out in the campground. Yeah. First time I have ever experienced that.
You got the solar, right? How does that work?
The solar panel's not going to run your air conditioner.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Yeah, but as long as I got my 12-volt battery fully charged, I'm fine.
How long does that last?
Well, it depends on what you're using.
Okay.
Now, Daniel, it worked fine during the storm.
So you still had air and everything?
No, I didn't have air.
Ooh.
Well, I'll take that back because, Daniel,
Uh-oh.
this was the first time I got to break out my new Arctic Air. I don't want to call it an air conditioning system.
Okay.
But it really worked great. And you can get this at Walmart for about $39.
Uh-huh.
I keep it in the RV. It doesn't really take up any space for storage. But I broke that out. I set it on the countertop. I aimed the fan over toward where I was sleeping.
Yeah.
You fill the little compartment up with ice cubes, a little bit of water.
Yeah.
Turn that on. It's plugged into a USB port.
Uh-huh.
Daniel, it knocked me right out.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, it's not an air conditioner.
Oh, no.
All right?
I know.
But
I know about it.
It provides the cool air that you need in a situation like this.
Yeah.
Okay, and it wasn't until after 6 o'clock when I finally woke up and Sadie had finally settled down that I realized the power had come back up.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and put my Arctic Air away. I, dried it up, cleaned it up, and put it back where it came from, and I fired the air conditioner back up. But Daniel, that was just absolutely wonderful. And I encourage you folks, and I'm not a salesman for Walmart, and I'm not a spokesperson for Arctic Air. I'm just saying this little device works fine for me.
Yeah.
Okay. And
certain situations, because at the post office, we don't have air conditioners in our truck, and a guy tried one of those, but like our truck is so hot and there's no insulation that it only works for maybe an hour or two before all the ice is melted, and it doesn't really matter anymore.
It's not going to be an hour or two. It's going to be about 10 minutes because, Daniel, and I'm not a postal carrier, but you've got a window open all the time while you're delivering that mail, and that's not any good.
Yeah, it didn't work very well for them, but we're always trying to figure something out.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Daniel, you'll probably want to get one of these even for your pop-up.
Yeah, sounds good.
Now, you have a battery on your pop-up, don't you?
No.
No?
No.
Well, okay.
Well, I mean, we got a spot for it, but no. Okay. There's a spot for propane tank, and there's a spot for battery, but yeah.
Even if you do get a battery, you got to wire in a USB port.
Yeah.
Because that's how this thing is going to work.
Well, we've got so many little, banks and stuff that we could probably, let it go like that.
Oh, wow. Well, Daniel, here's the kicker, okay? And this is leading into today's discussion about moving from the tent life to RV life.
Or the pop-up.
The pop-up. We're going to include that as well because that is just as important.
Right.
When we finally woke up in the morning, Okay, and I opened the blinds inside the RV. The folks who were parked right next to me, all right, I looked out there, the canopy that they had set up over top of their picnic table, and it was a really nice canopy. It had collapsed, all right, totally destroyed. It was crumbled up like a pretzel. And I'm saying to myself, you know, what else did anybody experience during this particular outing? Okay, besides this, I had to get in my truck and drive around, not only to observe that, but to see if there was any potential damage to trees down, things like that in the campground.
Yeah.
And Daniel, every one of the tent campers that I saw when I came in were gone.
Oh, that's too bad.
You know, it breaks my heart, Daniel. It really does. It's one thing to experience that yourself, but when you see fellow campers who are out there enjoying life just as you are, to experience that same thing, yeah, it's heartbreaking, Daniel. You're thinking a lot of these folks are going home and are probably saying, no, I'm never going to go tent camping again, only to turn around and throw away everything that got destroyed and buy new gear.
Yeah.
I've done that a number of times.
You have to know what you're doing when you're tent camping. You have to know, you know, that you might get a little wet. You have to know what to expect. If you don't know what to expect, it's going to be kind of rough.
Now, you bought some gear since I bought this RV, and you're doing backpacking.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you know you can experience this. You know what to look forward to when you're out there. It's what you're doing is a little bit different than parking at a campground and staying there for about a week. All right, and I'm sure you have a tarp or a rain fly or something to go over that.
Oh yeah.
You know, to keep you somewhat dry.
Oh, it's very dry.
Okay, but you know
these are very. I don't know what kind of tents they got, because I mean, you said something good about Walmart. I mean, like my tent I have is a $300 tent, and you can get tents at Walmart for like, you know, $30-$40, and you know, anyone in the backpacking world knows that stuff is expensive, but it's expensive for a reason, because it's quality and it can hold up to things like your weekend. It can hold up to, you know, wind and rain like that. But the cheap ones, I mean, a lot of times you get what you pay for.
Daniel, yesterday I was looking at a YouTube video around Cherokee, North Carolina. I was looking for some campgrounds up there, and I spotted some folks who went out and they did their own little tour for about 30 minutes of their entire camping trip. And they were really excited about going out, and they were talking right from the very beginning, well, we may get rained on.
Yeah.
And about halfway through that video, sure, they got not only rained on, they had a downpour come down on top of them. Yeah, so it can ruin your camping trip, and these were tent campers too. All right. But, you know, you're going to ask yourself, if you're really into the recreational lifestyle that we're in, that we're into, how long are you going to put up with that? How long are you going to continue to have your camping equipment destroyed? Like when I saw these folks right next to me, you know, my heart went out to those folks, because I've been there, done that. Okay, but there's going to come a time where if you want to continue camping, if you want to raise your kids right, if you want to bring them out and enjoy the lakeside view, if you want to enjoy the hikes through the forest like you and your wife Deidre enjoy, okay, you're going to keep doing it one way or the other, whether you continue to buy equipment, primitive camping equipment, or you make that next move to an RV
or a pop-up.
Okay, well, we're gonna put pop-up in the same classification as your RV.
You.
Okay,
well,
for the purpose of this discussion.
Well, the thing about pop-ups are, like, you don't need a big F-150 whatever, and the way things are now, it's like, you know, F-150s now are like $70,000-$80,000, and like, I mean, that's a big payment to entry to just even potentially look at RVs. You're like, what am I going to tow it with? Well, I'm going to have an F-150 probably at minimum. So that's what I like about pop-ups. I mean, you've got very small ones, you got crazy big ones, but like most of the time they don't weigh more than 4,000 at the most. So I mean, you can get a little tiny. I think Viking sells a really nice pop-up with, it's really tiny, maybe 2 queen size beds, and you know, it might only be 2,000 pounds, and you can tow that with a minivan or whatever. So I mean, That's what it is for me, because I hate driving big cars, and I got my Ranger, and that tows a pretty decent amount, and I could buy any pop-up I want and it'll work great.
Well, for me, Daniel, I wasn't even thinking RV life when I bought my truck back in 2018.
Yeah.
But I saw this truck, and I saw about 3 or 4 others that I had an interest in up at the dealership, but this one right here caught my eye. All right, and it's not only the size, but the color. Because I'm a blue guy. I love blue.
I can tell.
Yeah, blue everywhere.
There's a theme.
Okay, but yeah, with this particular truck that I got, the F-150, it had a tow package with it.
Nice.
Okay, and I come to find out after the fact, after that I bought the RV that I did, I can tow up to 11,000 pounds.
Oh yeah,
with this particular truck. But you've got to look at what you have right now. Maybe you don't want to make the investment. Maybe you don't want to buy something bigger as far as your tow vehicle goes. So, if you're driving a small vehicle like you have, or maybe even something smaller, maybe then a small pop-up camper will work for you. Okay. And again, there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, and, we've been talking, and like when we went to the camping show about a year or so ago, I look at Class C RVs, which are the ones that are 2-in-1. They're the drivable ones or whatever. And I like that because you can do that. You can drive. You could go to a Walmart parking lot, hop in the back, take a nap, or, you can do that at your rest stop, but you get out of your truck in there. With this thing, you just go back to your bed and sleep. And you could buy a little tiny, Geo Metro or something and tow that in the back. And then, for people like me and Deidre who like to go, we go to the campground, we hop into our little tiny car and we go. And
sure.
So it's Ford Rangers, or not Ford Rangers, but Ford F-150s and Silverados or whatever, they're $80,000 nowadays. I mean, you could buy a Class C RV for brand new one for just that. And so you got 2-in-1. So I think that's really our next step if we're going to get into RVs.
Yeah, this is something you're going to have to look at very seriously, unless you've got a pretty large billfold and you want to go ahead and upgrade your truck and get a new RV. You've got to look at the numbers, find out what you can tow with your vehicle, and then go from there. Maybe it is a small pop-up camper that you're going to get into, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to stay in that, all right? Because as time goes on, maybe you're going to enjoy the pop-up lifestyle like you and your wife do. Or maybe later on you're going to say, wow, I love what I have, but I really like this better. Okay, and you're going to want to go ahead and upgrade. So,
well, there's also things called Highlows, and they're like a pop-up, but they pop up into a hard side. And I can't remember the name right now, but they have things that look like pop-ups. They're pretty expensive, but they're all hard side on every side. I forgot what they're called. I'll probably tell you all next week. But those are really expensive, but those are really, really nice. So there's a lot of in betweens. There's tents. There's pop-ups. There's high-lows. There's the hard sides. There's hybrids. I like hybrids, and then there's RVs, and so there's a lot of variety in what you could get.
Now, on the other hand, if you do have, say, like a big F-350, then that opens up your world right there to just about anything that you want to tow.
Remember the thing that we saw? We never mentioned it, but the people that were right next to us, they had, it looked like a 18-wheeler kind of truck.
Right, yeah.
That thing was crazy.
Yeah, and they were hauling a big momentum.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
That was amazing. That was, wow.
Yeah, we got to see that up close. I've seen them on YouTube videos, but wow, yeah, when that's those folks are really really into their RV lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
They were probably full timers too.
Probably.
Yeah. But like I said, if you've got a bigger truck and and you can tow say like a Grand Design Momentum, for example, okay? Then, that's an option you may want to look at.
Yep.
It really depends on your budget, how much camping you want to do, and really how many years you plan on keeping your RV.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my RV is going on 3 years old right now, but that's treated like a baby.
Oh,
It
yes,
is-
definitely.
It is well taken care of. So I think I'm going to be in the 200 MK for quite a long time.
Okay.
Okay, but that's going to work for me. But once you do get into this lifestyle, whether you get a pop-up camper or whether you get a travel trailer or maybe even a motorhome for all that matters, okay, you'll never go back to the primitive lifestyle. Okay, you will think, and I know you're saying that probably from a hiker's perspective.
Yeah, I just say that because unless you're like going to be on like a trail like the Appalachian Trail where there's shelters every couple stops and you can just stay in the shelter. I mean, I can't think of any other way you could backpack and not have a tent. So,
well, I can think of a reason not to hike the Appalachian Trail, Daniel, and that's my appetite. Because all the food that I want to carry along is just, they'll tell me, no, you can't do that.
But the thing about that is like, you can eat as much as you want and you'll still lose weight. I mean, there was a guy who, this was a long time ago. He was on Gary's show a while ago. His name was Second Chance Hiker. And he did the PCT, and he was about 400 pounds. And like when he first started off, he was doing 2-3 miles a day. And by the end of it, he must have lost like 70, 80 pounds. And the thing about that is you can eat all you want because it's just calories in, calories out when you're doing that kind of stuff.
Maybe about 40 years ago, I would be talking a little bit different. But now when I'm up there in the ages like I am, Daniel, it's just I've got to... I've got to focus on relaxation. I've got my girl Sadie here with me, and she loves camping just as much as I do.
But we gotta still. We talked about this. We gotta still try to find out a place to set up shop and feed some of those hungry hikers one day.
Yeah, and I know the place.
Oh yeah,
I know exactly where to go, Daniel.
Okay.
And, yeah, when you have some time, and we'll get with Gary on that because he's the experienced guy on the Appalachian Trail. And if you were wondering who we're talking about, Gary, that's Gary Sizer.
Yep.
Who you became very good friends with.
Yep.
We've had him on the show back in the early days of Happy Camper Radio when he was making that very long hike up there. He will probably be able to give us the best advice on what we can do for fellow hikers who are making that journey all the way from down in Georgia all the way up to Maine, I believe it is.
Oh, yeah. Mount Katahdin. The first place to see sunset in America.
Okay.
Or sunrise, sorry.
Oh, wow. Did you see the Northern Lights here recently?
Okay, so I saw a bunch of stuff on TikTok, and it's like, blah, 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 Northern Lights. I go out last night. It seemed really light outside. I was like, oh, I can't see anything. It's too light outside. There's too many lights, yada, yada, yada. Come to find out, that's the Northern Lights. And if you take a picture of it with your phone, the phone camera sees more light than your eye can. So when you take a picture of it, you can see the different colors and everything. But like when it's just your naked eye, you don't see what you think you're going to see. So that was a little disappointing, but it happened.
Yeah, I was counting sheep about the time you were out there trying to look for the Northern Lights.
I might try to go out there tonight and snap some pictures. Now that I know you got to snap some pictures to do it, I'd like to do that. But I mean, one day I'd really like to go up north and really experience them because it looks amazing. I mean, ever since I saw the eclipse, I'm just that much more into astronomy. So,
good. I'm glad for you.
Oh, yeah. I love it. Love it so much.
Probably as much as I do my camping lifestyle now.
Hey, it goes along with it. I mean, camping under the stars. You love the lake. I love the lake. I love the stars. It's just one aspect of camping. I mean, it's the night sky with the lightning bugs and the stars and the frogs and the cicadas. And it's just so relaxing. I mean, that's why they have that as a sleep sound because it's just so relaxing.
Yeah, and Daniel, and the whole purpose of this episode right here is to keep everybody encouraged, even though you're going to have inclement weather wherever you go. You can't rule that out. I mean, it would be nice to have weather just like it was when we were down in Brunswick.
All you gotta do is
take
take
drop
me.
of rain.
All you got to do is take me.
I asked you to come up to Lake Hartwell with me.
I told you to call my boss. I told you see if they could give me some more
Your
days
boss is
somehow.
not going to listen to me. No, but I tell you, it's not going to happen that way. You know, you're going to have good weather. You're going to have bad weather.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to make your camping reservations far in advance. And, you know, we're not mind readers. We can't look into the future. We don't know what the weather's going to bring. Okay, but the last thing I want to see anybody do is to give up this type of lifestyle because you were rained out and you had your camping equipment destroyed. Okay, there are other options. You know, if it's in your blood like it is for you and I,
Oh, yeah.
all right, yeah, you're going to look for better ways. You know, maybe it is time to go ahead and make that upgrade. Again, you know, it all depends on, you know, your particular lifestyle, your particular budget. Do you want to go ahead and make this move? And again, you know, we start, you know, talking about the vehicles and what you can tow and what you can't. There's a lot of good YouTube videos on that as well. You can
There's
find out there.
also Teardrops. I mean, one of our fans a while ago, he came on and he was a big Teardrop fan. And I mean, and you could tow that with anything. I mean, I've seen.
That's precisely the point.
Yeah, I've seen. I think you could tow that with like a motorcycle or something. But like, I mean, there's all kinds of options. It's not just tent, you know, RV, tent, pop-up RV. I mean, there's everything in between. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. There's the stuff we saw at the camping show that you know, they had the tent on top of the roof and all that. Those are super expensive, but those are like for like in the middle of nowhere kind of camping. So I mean, there's something out there for everyone. You just gotta do your research. YouTube is your friend. Just learn as much as you can, and you're gonna have a better time. And you're gonna know and like when those people have that, it's an experience. They're like, okay, I've learned something. It's not just, you know, it wasn't pointless. I've learned this. Okay, this happened. We need to take our stuff down. It's all a learning curve. And you can get your excitement really built up about that, just like I am shopping for a pontoon boat right now. Yeah, it's coming. I can't wait.
Yeah, but you know, if you love camping, if you can dream it, you can live it. That's the bottom line.
And you got to give it a chance. You can't just, okay, I got rained out this time. Yeah, I got rained out, but I learned from this. I can do this. What should I do? You make preparations. You strategize more, and if you do it right, you do it enough, you're gonna get it right. You're gonna get it right.
Well, Daniel, I was well prepared for this show.
You are.
Long before I came in here today, and you can tell I'm pumped up and excited.
I want to go camping right now.
And we're going to do it. We're going to do it real soon. We're going to get that pop-up out of the backyard.
Oh yeah.
Get it all set for you. And hopefully you'll be able to join me on one of these upcoming trips that I have planned. It's time now for our featured campground of the week right here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Happy Camper Radio. Happy Camper Radio.
Daniel, did you ever wonder what it would be like to go camping in the state of Idaho?
Ah, that'd be nice.
All right.
It's beautiful out there.
You'd come up here back with a sack of potatoes. I'm sure about that. Daniel, there's a great campground out here that I found. It's called the Rainbow Point Campground near Donnelly, Idaho. It's part of the Boise National Forest. Rainbow Point Campground is located next to scenic Lake Cascade in west central Idaho. It's near the town of Donnelly at an elevation of 4,800 feet. Yeah, it might do a number on your sinuses. They've got boating, fishing, swimming, hiking, all the things we've been talking about on today's show. Yeah, it's a small campground. It offers single-family campsites. Each is equipped with a picnic table, a campfire ring, and grill. Some sites have lake views, where you will find me, and shoreline access. They've got vault toilets, drinking water, trash collections are provided, but electricity is not available.
Ooh.
Yeah, if you're not going to run your air conditioner, get your Arctic Air. Okay, yeah, and keep
Or a
that handy
generator.
along with a bag of ice. You're going to need it. Okay, but the road and parking spurs are within the facility are graveled. A lot of information is right there on the website. Be sure to check out the need-to-know items. Bears frequently visit this area, so you got to keep it clean. Keep your campsite clean and be bear aware. Also, remember, don't move firewood. Protect your forest from those tree-killing pests by purchasing your firewood locally and burning it on site. For more information, we've got a link to it right on our webpage at happycamperradio.com. This is a great campground, Daniel. If you want to get away from the big crowds, you like a little a little small campground to go visit, and you're out in the state of Idaho, here's one you may want to keep in mind. It's the Rainbow Point Campground. And it is our featured campground of the week right here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Skip and Daniel. HappyCamperRadio.com.
And if you have a campground you'd like for us to feature on the program, definitely get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at HappyCamperRadio.com, or the guy with the donut shirt.
Hey, Daniel at HappyCamperRadio.com.
And be sure to include a link to the campground website. Daniel, so glad to have you back in the studio again. We got to make some plans here real soon. Yeah. And I know you're going to enjoy the next camping trip we go out on. And keep those Grand Design rallies in mind, too. Yeah, because I certainly am. Okay, well, Daniel, that's going to wrap things up. It's a nice day outside, a nice day to go camping, but I'm not ready to go back out the door yet. I still got some cleaning I've got to do in preparation for that next trip coming up here next month up on Lake Sidney Lanier.
There you go.
Remember, friends, every pet deserves a loving home. I want you to do exactly as I did. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. We're on the web 24/7 at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on X, and check us out on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Great place to see us in the studio. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. Daniel's a happy camper. And you better believe it, folks, we're going to make a happy camper out of you. We'll be back to you again real soon. Thanks for joining us. This is Happy Camper Radio.